go.
Check.
Speed.
Oh, I can actually see.
Audio is rolling.
Nice. I gotta not.
We got
I
Big
can't lean
B.
Here. I've been leaning.
Yeah.
That's right. Flip that around.
Thank you. Thank you, Tim. Unsung hero, everybody. Tim the Butt Butner. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Cinedome's podcast, Cinephiliacs. I'm your co-host, Daniel Scott DeJess, and with me today, as always, is...
AK.
The founder of Kiora Pictures. How you doing, AK?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here.
Nice. Okay, that's good you're excited. Hey, do you know we got a cool guest today?
Who is it?
Oh my gosh, who is it? It is, everyone put your hands together for Bryan Williams, a.k.a. Big B.
You already know the deal, baby.
How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm feeling good right now.
Feeling good?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to hop right into it because this is going to be like we're doing like a speed round.
Lightning fast.
Speed
Lightning
interview.
fast. Briefly, how'd you get started in filmmaking?
Man. I got started when I was 17, and I picked up the camera. I was working at my church doing, photography and videography for them, and everyone saw that I was like really good, so I pursued it as a career. And I went out and I moved from my small town of Winter Haven, and I moved out to Florida. I mean, not to Florida, but moved out to Tampa. And that was like the first big move that I ever made. I didn't know anybody out here. I was just like, I told my mom, I was like, hey, I got accepted to a film school out in Tampa, and I packed my bags. She was like, what? I'm like, yeah, I'm moving out. I had just went on a mission trip, and I already had planned it out. When I got home, I was just like saving up boxes and, putting my clothes in and putting stuff up. And my mom was like, kind of like, what are you doing? She didn't know that I got accepted, but my sister did. So I told her, and literally I had 2 weeks to move into my apartment, and fall intake was coming in. And I told my mom, and that was it. The rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah. That was a bold move, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think anytime you uplift where you're at to go somewhere in the unknown is bold.
And how scary it is to become a filmmaker, It's super scary.
How scary is it?
Super.
I mean, when you think about it, it's like we got to be kind of borderline like crazy to do what we do.
A little bit.
Yeah, because we're literally taking imagination and putting it into a physical form,
Oh, yeah. It's nothing. Like,
Yeah.
it's just an idea. And the process that it goes to get made, it's insane. And how many steps along the way you can fail?
Yeah. It's borderline insanity.
Scary.
So speaking of insanity in this industry, how do you define being successful as a filmmaker or being successful in this industry?
The way I look at it is, you have a lot of filmmakers, they'll come out and they think about the amount of work that they do is, it's their accomplishment. But it's not what you do, because obviously I'm a part of Suncreen and I get a chance to watch thousands and thousands of films that come in every year.
It must be horrible.
It's a rigorous
Let's hope
progress.
they're good quality. it could be horrible.
We know it isn't.
Sometimes they're good quality, sometimes they're bad. But even with that being said,
Someone's got to do it.
I would
he's
say
good
this
at his job.
I would say this: jumping out there and just shooting something is some form of success. But to me, the way I look at it is like, okay, you can take your first jump and say, okay, I made a film, right? It can suck, it can bomb, but that was your first step. I feel like what happens a lot is that you have a lot of filmmakers, they get hung up on that first step.
Yeah.
And they don't make anything other than that. And they don't rise above the first level. Great job. You got your cell phone out, you got a couple friends together, and you made a short film. Okay, what's next? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do to add on to that? So I feel like a lot of times people are stuck on the first move, but to me that's a small, minute success. Success is overcoming every milestone to become the filmmaker that you are looking to be.
Ooh, that's a good quote.
To me, that is truly being successful. It's not about producing, how many films. It's what have you learned and what have you overcome in that process of that. To me, that's a true filmmaker.
Well, a lot of people don't realize that filmmaking is a job, and what?
Yeah,
It's a job.
It's
a
money.
lot.
It's
a lot
called
of. It's
money.
a lot of. It's a lot of hard work. And so my first films, you're doing because it's just fun.
Yeah.
Right. And then you get to the fun part. I think only takes you so far, and then you have to realize that creating quality films, like when people. So now I've done 2 features now, and so when people ask me, they're like, "What's that like?" And I was like, honestly, it's not fun like I thought it would be. It's not enjoyable. Like, there's moments that I enjoy, where you're just like everything's coming together perfectly and you're getting a great performance, or that like I don't have anything like this on my demo reel. This is going to help me land a bigger paying jobs, or that next bigger level production. But after directing 2 features, it's not the process of directing or making, it's not fun. It's a lot of hard it's a lot of it's a lot of hard work. What is fun, I think, for me, the most enjoyable parts of the process, writing a script, right? Because there's no one with a gun pointing it, like, if you don't finish this by 5 p.m. today, like, generally on the indie level, you have all the time in the world. So, it's very freeing. And then my next favorite part is watching audiences, like watching, because at that point, I've seen the film hundreds of times and I hate it. And so, seeing other people enjoy it way more than I do, it makes me feel like, okay, that wasn't a total waste of time, And then I'm, but then you're addicted. What's interesting is I end up getting, I think for me, I'm addicted to the challenge of making that next best movie. It's not because it's the challenge is fun, but the work is not.
Yeah.
Nice.
Honestly, I feel like that's another thing too, is for me, I work on the back end of film and, working as a producer or a co-producer or a location scouter or whatever, a lot of times, like, a lot of the work that we do, it gets missed because it's like, oh yeah, you don't know what we had to do to get that location. You don't know what we need to do to get those cars or shut down that road. Like, a lot of things that people look at, they fantasize over the final product, but they don't understand
how stressful it is.
The sacrifice that you have to take to get certain things to even be in the film.
Yeah,
it's so crazy. Like, matter of fact, I was working on a feature film, and we were basically, it was a low budget feature film, and it's what we call a turn and burn. You basically you go under 300,000, and you have to crank it out within like 15 to 14 days. You're waking up like the crack of dawn, and like sometimes when you're working on these type of like turn and burn films, there's a lot of things that actually happen. So like you'll lose a location, or someone forgot to like sign a contract or something like that, or the funds for it like starts to run out. So now you have to scram and put together like a strategy, and a lot of times you have to make things happen before the crew actually shows up. And that's the beautiful thing about it. But to me, I feel like a lot of things get missed, or it's not appreciative of what is done behind the scenes, because everyone sees what happens on the screen, but they don't respect what it takes to actually make the film happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, let's just look at how many bad movies there are. If it was easy, we would see way more good movies. It's very hard. It's very, very hard to make a good, and that's why they always say, any movie that gets made is a miracle, and I think any good movie that gets made, I mean, it's like a unicorn. Yeah. It's when you see it, you're like, ah.
On that note, I want to move on and briefly talk about one of your accomplishments, which has been basically becoming the host of the Suncreen Film Festival. What's that experience like?
Man, it is pretty cool. I definitely want to say that. I've actually been working with Sunscreen for about 11 years now. I started as like an intern. I came from the Art Institute of Tampa. Tony Armour at the time was the instructor. And what he did, he hosted.
I want to pause really quick.
Yeah.
I heard Mandy come in, so I just want to make sure. Tim, do you mind just thank you.
You let her know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're.
Mandy.
Just take it back a sentence.
Okay.
A sentence or two.
Okay. Working with the Suncreen Film Festival, it's been really cool. And being the host on that, it's really fun. I've actually been a part of the festival for about 11 years. Moving to 2023, it's been 11. And I've been working alongside Tony Armour ever since I was a student. He used to be an instructor at the Art Institute of Tampa. One of the coolest teachers there. It was sad when we lost him because he was the film commissioner. He got hired to be that.
Yeah.
But ever since then, he offered his class, hey, if you want to come and check out a cool film festival, I'll give you extra credit, but you have to volunteer. So that was the hook. Well, I came and I met so many awesome people that first year. Literally, they gave me a camera and I was the BTS videographer for that year. After that, I met just countless people that I can call my friends now. And ever since then, I kept coming back. I kept asking questions. And before you know it, he was like, hey, you've been here the longest. Why not become a programmer and help host this thing? And and it's been such an amazing ride and such an amazing blessing to have that under my belt. But it's cool because I get a chance to usher in all the filmmakers on that first night. And I get a chance to see all their smiling faces and all the wardrobes that everyone's wearing and, all the cool sneakers. I'm a big sneakerhead. I became that after coming to, I want to say, 2014. 2014, no. It was 2015. It was one of the directors that came in. And I saw his shoes on the red carpet, and we both were talking about our shoes.
Yeah.
And ever since then, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna keep this going. So every year, my shoe game for the festival, it's crazy.
So Big B's
You're
checking
stepping
you,
up.
checking you out.
Your sneak game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Bring
That's
bring
my
your
thing.
nice shoes, guys.
Yeah, make sure you bring your nice shoes.
Don't bring no dirty.
No.
Air Force Ones out of here.
Bring yeah.
And you know what though?
Step up clean, guys. Come on.
And you know what? Though? It with the festival, it has become a friendly competition amongst the board.
Yeah.
So we'll do the craziest blazer or the craziest shoes.
Who can look the best?
The best, basically.
Yeah.
It's a friendly thing that we got.
You're not
going
winning
on.
an award unless you have nice shoes.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Dang
You
it,
can forget that.
that's why I haven't won
if you don't
anything.
have nice shoes, you're not getting picked. No, we don't do that. But it's cool, and it actually became more of a fashion thing for the festival because people start to catch up on.
Right. You start doing it. People start seeing it. They start stepping up.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So it's been a cool process. I love it. They become family to me. Literally, Scatter Brothers, I know them for a long time. I was their first intern. So working along with them, it's just been magical. And I feel like every year we just take it up to the next level.
Awesome. Well, kind of jumping off there, going into our last topic. We only got a few minutes left. I just want to talk about how the Sunscreen Film Festival and kind of what Cinedome and Cinephiliac is a part of in terms of trying to bring community building in the film industry here in Florida. And how do you think, how has that become important to you?
It's very important.
And how is it possible? How do we build our community?
Well, I love what you guys are already doing. You're hanging out, you're having parties and stuff. And, which is good. No, that's the
We're
thing.
legit. We're legit.
Legit though, but
We hang out. We have parties.
parties. Yeah. But to me, I think that is, and it's only in the infant stage, and and it is, because you guys just started last year. I was a part of the first house party. That was a huge success. We had 75 people that showed up. Total.
Yeah. It was a good crowd.
That's a good house party. And at the end of the day, I told Tyler Manolich this at Gasparilla. I said, here's the thing is, I was like, Sunscreen and Gasparilla are basically the two pillars of the community, right? So those are the things that people are attracted to, but it doesn't really hold anybody back from like actually going out and go starting their own community. I'm not saying you have to go start your own film festival because that takes a whole lot of work. And I've tried that on my own and I realized I'm like, that's not what I want to do. So that's why I ended up teaming up with Suncreen. But the thing is that we are so, in a way, the way I look at it, we're cliquey. We're very cliquey, you know, and it's because people, you have these, you have a certain group of people. You have the first comers. They're, you know, made a couple shorts, but they just want to get out there more and learn about the business. Mm-hmm. But then you have the ones who have been in it. They've been in the film industry. They may not are getting into, you know, feature films as much, but now
because their wife won't let them out,
or you know, they're going through something. You know, they're grounded basically, or they're jaded. They're just straight up jaded. You know,
yeah.
you realize you have a lot of jaded people that are in the industry, but also in the local industry.
Yeah, and
then you have like what you call the, I don't even call them that, but some people do. It's like you have the elite that like they're on every top-notch commercial, every top-notch feature film that gets landed here, and it's kind of like whatever is taken from that group, then they keep it. You know, it's like their own little mob, their own little family. And to me,
no, I agree.
I don't agree to that, and I don't believe in that. And I feel like what you guys are doing is groundbreaking, and I feel like other groups will spawn off of that. But at the same time, it's all about not caring what anybody has done in the industry and just coming together and just having a good time and speaking on the things that are possible. Like I said before, when we first started this conversation, we take imagination and we bring it into reality. So it's like when you get a group of people who are all stirred up about bringing an imagination together, that starts a spark. You create a friction, a positive friction with that. And all you got to do is just get people in the room, you know, have it relaxed. There's no stress with it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I think a lot of people don't realize what community is. Like, what does it mean to be a part of a community, build a community? If you want a community, you have to get involved.
Yeah. Got to get involved.
You can't just expect, you know, for these great things to happen and you're not there. Exactly. You know, so if you want, you know, if you want film incentives, if you want opportunities for yourself, you know, not every event that we've thrown for the Cinephiliac group has been as poppin' as that, you know, that house party, you know, but that's the thing. If like it's like fishing. You don't know until you put yourself, you know, out there. I learned this year for me is a year dedicated towards networking and community. And like, even if I think that it's not like, there's probably not going to be nothing, I force myself, I'm going to go out. Like if I can go out tonight, if I can be a part of some film-related event, or even just going out and meeting with, and that's how I met an older gentleman named Bobby, who is formerly, he just moved here a few weeks ago, and he's producing a film he used to write for Universal. And just by going out that night and, you know, saying I'm going to get out of my comfort zone, now I'm helping him, you know, we'll see if we're going to be making this movie, but that's the point is if you want a community, if you want to build and have, you know, a something like Atlanta or Los Angeles, then you have to go make movies and get together and talk about making movies. Yeah. You have to party, you know, you have to celebrate people that have made movies, and you have to do it consistently. You can't just do it, you know, once a year.
And you know what, real quick, I want to talk about celebrating each other. We don't do that enough. We really don't. You know, because the way I look at it is
got 60 seconds.
Yeah, the way I look at it is like when you celebrate somebody else, you're also putting out the same energy for your own project to be celebrated.
100%.
You know, And we don't do that enough. Really
So
don't.
unfortunately, we got to cut things off. Sorry, Dan. This is Dan's role. He likes to take 5 minutes to do this.
5 minutes. You're the one that just took 15 to talk about networking.
Yeah, well, you guys should all do it.
Yeah. Guys, unfortunately, that's all the time we have with our guest. This has been Cinedome's Cinephiliacs podcast. I'm your co-host, Daniel Scott DeGesse, along with
AK.
founder of Kuro Pictures. And again, everyone give a round of applause to our exceptional guest. I had to think of an adjective there.
Exciting.
Bryan Williams, a.k.a. Big B. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey,
Thank you, Brian.
No problem.
And where can people find you if they need to
So
get
yeah, you
connected?
can check out my Instagram page, which is Yo Big B Studios, and then my hosting and acting page. You can go to Yo It's Big B.
Awesome. Perfect. Thanks for being here, dude.
Yeah,
Perfect.
no problem. All right, be easy, baby.